So we still have nothing on the screen sharing end. Okay, well it played the sound. All right, it's a little delayed, but I see it's finally up because I was like, "What in the hell? I don't see anything. I don't have enough internet speed or whatever the hell you may have you to do this through StreamYard. So I'm trying to see if I can complete one through this here YouTube. It looks like it's working better than it just did last time. Strangely enough, I unplugged the Ethernet cord and it's working. But the truth told me what I need. He's saying my laptop old ass ports is throttling my shit down. Whoever laughing at me on the side, go to hell. Now Tommy won't speak. It got froze. So now he just ain't gonna talk. I didn't hit play 70, 11 times. He ain't gonna talk.
Johnson talks incessantly about white people, as a matter of fact. In talking about white people, there seems to be a situation where Dr. Umar Johnson, let me see if I can get it to come up because the shit hasn't been coming up lately over here. So, okay, so it came up. Skip ads. Okay.
Nope. YouTube just gave me the warning.
Something's
My
wrong
connection is unstable. Please hold up while we try to fix it.
Maybe it works.
Bitch, it still ain't working.
It works here and it just doesn't work there. So maybe that's a problem I'm having. Yep, it works here. So what I'm going to do is let you guys see something that's been going on with 17 minutes and see if I would have downloaded, would it take me a long time? Dr. Umar Johnson likes to talk a lot about white people, white this, white that, white people bad, white people horrible, white people evil, white people, white people, white people. I'm not trying to tell him that white people are good, bad, or any considered I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. Some of these white people, the things that they've done throughout history, they're horrible people to black people, to indigenous Indians, and whoever the fuck else. Like they're not really good people when it comes to a lot of work with white people. Would not take any money from white people, right? You'd assume that Dr. Umar Johnson would have pretty much nothing to do with white people. Well, let's hear something.
Number one, I was born to do this work, so I'm going to die with the boots on. And I want to be clear because there's a lot of people listening tonight, but my message is only to the donors support and supporters donate. So that's the only people I'm speaking to. And I say that, Minister Hashim, because when we have these conversations and when I do these different interviews on different platforms, you'll have people call up who don't donate or don't support and want questions answered when they never even contributed to the campaign. So I'm making all the haters aware right now that I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to folks such as yourself who support the work. Here's the story on the taxes. Number one, when we purchased the building 7 days before the Honorable Frederick Douglass's 201st birthday, February the 7th, 2019, the white attorney who did my closing neglected to tell me that I had 2 weeks to apply and secure tax exemption from Newcastle County because Wilmington is in Newcastle County, Delaware.
The white attorney I can't fuck a white woman and be down for the black cause, but you can hire a white man to go over your books who can defraud you, fuck you over, have you sign something legally that you don't understand that turns it back over to a white person, and you're okay with that. Hiring a white attorney, fine. Fucking a white bitch, problematic.
Okay, and also the city of Wilmington. So there's a city tax that you pay, and there's a county tax that you pay. Delaware doesn't have a state tax. Once I bought the school, I contacted the city and the county. I said, hey, we are not-for-profit entity. Okay.
And then he's trying, and I want y'all to understand, he's trying to say that the white attorney did something wrong. A man who's been telling you how evil white people are for all these years. Evil Whitey. Now you're trying to say evil Whitey did you wrong. But you hired evil Whitey knowing Whitey was evil. How are we supposed to feel bad because some white person did you wrong when you said that's all white people do?
I want to apply for tax exemption. They told me that you were supposed to have done this within 14 days from the date of your purchase. How in the hell was I supposed to know I had 2 weeks to get tax exemption? So I reached out to the white attorney who did the closing, and I asked him, why didn't you tell me I had 2 weeks to get the tax exemption? Don't you think that's something I should know as a client paying for your service? He never answered the question. You know what that tells me? He did it on purpose. I believe he was jealous that a young black man walked into his office, you follow me, and wrote a check in that amount of money, and I'm not a drug dealer. Those white folks looked at me like I was crazy when I pulled that check out. They're like, wait a minute, who is this guy? So I think they then went to the internet, found out who I was, and became upset that they even accepted me as a client in the first place. So I believe the attorney deliberately sabotaged me because on a certain level, he felt some type of way that a young black man could produce this type of money for a school. Okay.
Produced this money by writing him a check. So he tried to sabotage what you were doing, even though you preach how evil white people are. You just talked about how we need to hire more black psychologists, and yet you as a black man who was telling Oprah and Kanye West and every other black person with money what they should do with their money. And the first thing you did when you got money from black folks was go hire white people. The first thing you did when you got black money from black folks was to go hire white folks as if you couldn't find a black attorney. Huh. But you telling everybody else what to do with their money.
Straight cash because of the love of the people. So that's number one. The attorney that did my closing sabotaged us. Now let's do it number two. FDMG was a tax-exempt organization under the IRS. But there's only one problem. The IRS never served notice that we had been approved for tax exemption. So guess what I'm thinking? They sabotaged us too. They couldn't refuse the tax exemption. So they simply said, we're not going to let him know that he got the tax exemption. We find out about the tax exemption after chasing down the IRS officer responsible for FDMG's tax exempt application. We was calling them, emailing them, both me and my accountant, professional accountant, working on this with me. And then we come to find out later that the IRS withdrew FDMG's tax exemption before they even told us we had a tax exemption. So that's setup number two. So where are we right now? Right now, we are in the process of applying to reinstate the tax exemption. And the reason we're in the process of reinstating the tax exemption, Brother Hashim, is because the taxes on that school, that campus, that 4-building campus, is over $150,000 per year. We owe, and I'm pulling from memory right now, on the Frederick Douglass building for the city of Wilmington, we owe about $50,000. For the Marcus Garvey building for the city of Wilmington, we owe about $20,000. That's just for the city of Wilmington. For the county, it's even more. For both buildings together for the county, we owe about $95,000. Altogether, you're dealing with more than $150,000, $160,000 per year. We can't afford that. We can't afford that. So my accountant right now is working as fast as he can. I just met with him the day before yesterday.
Can somebody explain to me how it makes sense then that you get donated money for a school and they have that kind of property tax per year, that if you didn't have the type of money and capital to come up with the money that you needed to even get to school, how would you have the money to pay the taxes per year? So what, are you going to have to get donations every year to pay the taxes on the school?
To try to get that application in and get it approved, because the last time we did this, they gave us the runaround, and when they finally approved it.
Would I donate to him? No. I have nothing against him, but I'm not going to donate to him. I'm not. It's just me, though. I don't have anything against him, and I don't have anything against the people who donate to him. That's why you don't hear me making videos like that. If you ask me if I would do it, no. It's like a fat bitch. You ask me if I'd marry her, no.
Never even told us we had it. So the proper paperwork was not being filed because we was waiting for an approval letter that we never got. So where are we right now on the $150,000 taxes that we owe? I have an agreement with Newcastle County that I just made last week, and I have to mail them a $25,000 down payment check on back taxes that we shouldn't owe had we not been sabotaged by both the closing attorney and the IRS. So we entered into agreement with Newcastle County, $25,000 down. We're going to have to pay about $10,000 around, which I believe is July of 2019.
So let me get it straight. The IRS to pay for something you shouldn't owe, instead of you suing both, so you wouldn't have to pay any of it and they'd owe you. I want y'all to get this straight. The federal government defrauded them. The lawyer defrauded them. They're not going after the government or the lawyer. They just worked out a deal with another white entity to pay back what they said they don't owe.
Excuse me, 2020. With the city of Wilmington, we buy a bill that we should not even owe. I'm saying that to the donors to let them know.
Somebody wrote in the comment section, y'all don't believe in shit, shaking your head. Ma'am, everything I just said, did he not repeat at the end that I'm 100% right in my assessment? All I took, you think Donald Trump would pay the government if he felt like he didn't owe the government? No, would pay something that their lawyer screwed up for them. How many do you know? Name a real businessman that would pay a debt that was caused by their lawyer frauding them.
That if you've been donating 20, you need to donate 40. If you've been donating 50, you need to donate 1.
Businessmen don't like paying what they actually owe. If there's any businessmen out there, businesswomen, and when I say men, I mean men and women. If there are any businessmen or businesswomen out there, am I lying when I say that? Y'all don't even like paying what, when you own your own business, you don't even like paying what you owe. You make these people have to chase you down to finally pay them. You stretch it out as long as you can.
100 because the city of Wilmington, Minister Hashim, has been targeted for gentrification. It's been targeted on property in places that have already been identified, that there's certain white folk who are...
Man, I be out here ducking bills like Floyd Mayweather. I be on the defense all the time. I'm paying you at the last minute, after the last minute. Then I'm arguing with you about the late fees I done collected for being late. I'm just saying.
Extremely upset that we purchased that building because they were just about to purchase it and they did not know that Dr. Umar was in the pipeline. So they're angry because I am blocking their ethnic cleansing agenda.
Who believes that? If he said that these people sold him the building at way below market rate because he couldn't come up with the money they were seeking, this tells you it is... Anybody in real estate, tell me if I'm lying. He said they are upset because he bought the building when they wanted it. Well, it would be easy for them to get it because all they would have had to do was pay what the asking price. That was it. All they had to do was pay the asking price. He couldn't even meet the asking price. He just said it on the Breakfast Club. So if you couldn't meet the asking price and there was this conglomerate of white people who are upset at you for being able to, hence they would have been able to buy it. You would have been out in the cold. You didn't meet the asking price. This is stupid.
People who don't want us there. But we're going to remain there because that's where the Most High and the ancestors put us, and we're going to stay there and finish the job. But we're talking big money here. We're talking very big money. Now, here's the other piece. Let me give you this piece. Let me say this and then I'll shut up. Before we can enter into an agreement with the city of Wilmington, I have to first satisfy the utility bill. The reason the utility bill has not been paid is because there is some inconsistency on the different meters that they have going to the school. So, for example, there's 2 school buildings, right? 4 buildings total. We have the Honorable Frederick Douglass School building.
So let me get this straight. His whole conversation he's having right now is about why he ain't paid certain bills. And this shit is this shit is piling up on why he hadn't paid this bill. And the reason why I haven't paid the water bill, and the reason why I have not paid the taxes, and the reason why I have not paid the light bill, and the reason why, the reason that we're here, the reason that the check I wrote didn't clear, it didn't clear. Oh, check, it bounced so hard it hit the deck. So when I ask you to donate, give me your money and don't you wait. Ask me questions, that's just hate.
That's the large building, almost 20 classrooms, extremely large modern gymnasium. We have the Honorable Marcus Garvey building, which is what I renamed that street of 17th Street, East Batunde Avenue. So the Honorable Marcus Garvey building stares out across the street at the Honorable Frederick Douglass building. So the Garvey building has about 12 classrooms, okay, computer room, lab. Both schools are beautiful, brother. Whenever you're ready to come down, I'll give you a personal walkthrough. The school is, when you see it, you're going to say, my goodness, because these are modern schools. This was a charter school, black charter school, that lost its charter, okay, and the school was renovated and built basically from the ground up. They took old buildings and they renovated those buildings into a modern school. So we're only the second business to occupy this property. The problem is that the building was not secured well, and so Mike and Tay and Ray and them got in there and stripped it of all the copper and the piping and things like that. Had that never happened, that school would have been moving ready. We would be having class already because when they left the school, it was in 100% brand new working order. The school was only about 4 or 5 years old. So we literally have a gift. We have really been blessed if we can hold on to this opportunity. But getting back to my point, the reason the utilities had not been paid is because we have to get clarity on the meters to make sure we're not being overcharged. Because there's 2 schools, right? 4 buildings, but there's 5 different bills. So whenever I get the utilities, I don't get one bill. I get a bill for 5 different meters, but there's only 4 buildings. So later this week, I have to go out there and meet the city of Wilmington's engineers so they can trace the meters to the appropriate buildings to make sure I'm not being overcharged. There's also the fire water line.
How is everything going wrong? Was it white kids that broke into the school and vandalized it? Was it white men who did it? Who were these people who went into the school and vandalized it? Who are these vandals?
In case of a fire emergency, I'm being charged for those lines, which have to be repaired. So I was told by a customer service rep from the city of Wilmington that you might not be responsible for paying the fire water charge because your fire lines have been vandalized and need to be repaired. I was going to pay the bill up front and say, you know what, just pay it. And I was advised by the city, don't pay this. You don't have money to give away. You need that money for your school, brother. Don't pay this. Let the engineers come out. Let's trace.
He was advised by the same city that's trying to defraud him to not pay. And they called him brother because they said, you need that money for that school, brother. So you pay these taxes that you feel like you don't owe, and nobody told you don't pay that, brother. You pay this lawyer who you said you don't owe, and nobody told you don't pay that, brother. But when state government told you not pay it and called you brother, the state told you don't pay them. How many? Who was on the other line? Let me tell you what you should do, brother. You shouldn't pay this bill, brother. Well, I talked to my main man, Gene Okerlund, and he said, don't pay this bill, brother.
The lines, let's assess the fire line, and then after you do all that, then pay the bill. In other words, if you're not responsible for some of these charges, don't pay for them because it'll take you forever to get your money back. Let's investigate, find out if you're not responsible. If you're not, we can take those charges off the bill, and then you could go ahead and pay it off. So the reason there's been no payment on the city utilities is because they're under investigation. And the reason there's been no tax payment on the city is because when the city does a tax agreement with you for Wilmington, they have to include all bills that you owe. I don't want the utilities included in the payment arrangement with the city of Wilmington. We can afford to.
I didn't say he's totally wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying it's the same thing I did with the flat earth. I'm listening to what he's saying, and I'm saying it sounds shady at best. How many of you guys want to sit up here and do business with somebody and they just keep on having a fucking reason of why it didn't happen, and you need to give me some more damn money? That's called a money pit where I'm from. Can I get an amen, ladies and gentlemen? That's literally called a money pit where I'm from.
Take those utilities off, you see. So that's what we're doing. So when you see these haters doing their little investigations and reports on Dr. Umar, last time I checked, Minister Hashim, they said I spent all the money. There would be no school. I thought that was the line. There would be. So how did you go from there will be no school. Then they went to, he's lying, he don't own the school. And now they act, he got to pay taxes. And because he ain't paying taxes, they going to take the school. First of all, my school is not in default. They don't even start looking at you being into tax default until the next tax year, because they give you the whole year to pay off the current taxes. So these Negroes running around talking about them, he going to lose the school, it's going to be up for share. They a goddamn lie. My school ain't on no list to be sold by nobody. Pure nonsense, jealous, envious Negroes who don't want to see this happen because they didn't have the guts and the vision and the fortitude to build an institution to save our.
If that's the case, then nobody should give him another dime and see what happens. If what he's just saying about how everybody's jealous of him, nobody should give him another dime and see what happens. If he says that it's not in default and it won't be in default and I won't lose my school, no one should give him another dime because it's your school. You talking about it real big. You saying how people hating on you real big. My school, you pay the taxes.
People, brother, we move.
Let me say this, Brother Akbar. I want to turn it over to you in a few seconds, and Sister Yah and our National Minister of Education. But I want to say this: the reason I brought Brother Johnson on because I really know what he's up against. And when I read his book, I'll never forget reading his book, Psychological Academic Holocaust. When I went to the forward, the first thing I read in your forward of your book was about Carter G. Woodson and the miseducation of the Negro. And the miseducation of the Negro is serious because when we're dealing with what you're dealing with now, we build a school here in Atlanta that Brother Akbar and a lot of his brothers on the phone have been to and been watching over the years. And we spent $12 million on one building. We just got a $7 million grant to expand on the second building. And we need, and we're...
Here's a question. Why does Dr. Umar Johnson have no grants? A Harvey grant, a Ulysses S. grant. If this is a school and a black school, like a Hugh Grant, not even trying to be funny, but why doesn't he have any? If this school is doing what he's doing, number one, the United States government loves to give money to so-called black causes. I asked, why didn't he go to them and say, give me the land? No grants at all. No grants at all. Nobody thinks this is odd that a man with all of these credentials and all of this good thing that he's trying to do for the black community has not received a grant at all. None. No grants. Well, here's the thing. You said he doesn't want the government involved. He doesn't have to pay a grant back. This man is constantly on the Breakfast Club. The man just said that the host said he gave $250,000 to a school in South Carolina. Their whole argument was you give money to white schools, but not black schools. Well, that man gave $250,000 to the school in South Carolina, brings you on the show all the time for his ratings, but he didn't give you that money. A grant is free money. That's not money you have to pay the government back, and the government's not tied to you. It's a grant.
And almost got it raised almost $18 million on another building. And you ain't even dealing with 1 million yet, and these all these questions come up. But then we got to ask ourselves, what in the hell the President of the United States is not getting these questions on his taxes? We got to ask, why was Mike Tyson attacked by the RS? Why was Holyfield attacked by the RS? Why was Richard Pryor attacked by the RS? Why was Red Fox attacked by the RS?
Why was Ed McMahon attacked by the IRS? Why was Frank Sinatra attacked by the IRS? Why was Momo Gincana attacked by the IRS? Why was Scarface attacked by the Al Capone attacked by the IRS? I can name, I don't know what ARS is, but I can tell you where Willie Nelson attacked by the IRS. And why would y'all like to name a bunch of white people who were attacked by the IRS? He act like the IRS only go after black folks. He's really saying this, y'all. He's really saying this. The IRS, they only go after black folks. Y'all can't listen to it. And these people always make emotional arguments for black people. Never factual, just emotional.
Why was Wesley Snipes just jailed by the RS? Why was Lauren
And who the
Hill
fuck is the
just
RS?
by the RS? Because every time America can't get you with Homeland Security, the FBI, the CIA, and the criminal justice system, they stick this illegal IRS and this tax crap on us to destroy our movements. And our people can't see this clear, that this brother hadn't even dealt with $1 million yet. And we sitting here talking about what he's done. And we sit here with our crazy black asses calling, getting an extension on our light bill every day. Getting an extension on our IRS bill every year. Getting an extension on our gas bill every other month. Getting an extension on our water bill as soon as the water company calls. And you don't think this brother gonna have to do it with a facility that large, with that many acres, with that much responsibility? You out of your mind. I just named the black school that we built in Atlanta, and we done spent over 20-something million, and we still ain't there yet. So I want Brother Akbar and turn.
How the hell they throwing around all these numbers and they're not giving him these numbers?
Show over to some others, because I hog it, Brother Johnson. You can talk as much as you want, because I can feel your pain, because when we first started raising money over there, when we got to $1 million, we was just getting started. And if anybody would have questioned,
These niggas are raising a lot of money. You hear what he's saying? We had $7 million and we gave $3 million and we gave, well, that's a lot of damn millions. Who is this nigga who got this horrible ass mic but got all these millions?
us after we only had $1 million, we would have told them to get the hell out of our face, man. We were trying to get 12 million. And now we're trying to get, then we got 7 million. Now we're trying to get 18 million. And that's how mediocre these people are sounding when you got a property like that with that many buildings and this much what you up against. Brother Akbar, you know I hog the show. I want to turn it over to you, and I know we got our National Minister of Education and other people where we can get deeper into this and let the doctors explain to these people to goddamn get on board and get a higher understanding of education so we can get a better education.
Yes, sir. Well, we thank you, Brother National Chairman and Brother Hashim Ekanadin and Zinger.
Who believes this brother? Who believes this bullshit? Niggas just get together and just talk. It's a dick swinging contest with niggas. That's right, because I was raising 90 million. I bought it. We buying a stadium right now. I'm buying a continent. And we was getting the money for it on Cash App to be able to buy a whole continent. Well, we was gonna buy a planet. We was looking at Uranus when you've been over. I mean, at Uranus was one of the planets, and you know, some white people was cock blocking because we had talked to a real estate agent who had flew us out there, and we looked at it and we saw that not only were they gonna give us Uranus, but they were gonna give us Titan too. Next thing you know, they done sit up there and downgraded it from a planet. So now it ain't no planet. Right when we were gonna buy it, them white folks done turned it ain't no planet now. Why? Because we black folk wanted it? Huh? That's what they're doing? So what we doing now, taking a look at a few galaxies. We were going to buy some galaxies then, so we wouldn't have this problem.
You've done a wonderful job bringing Hannibal Rashidi. I want to welcome to the airways, brother Umar Johnson, and just all of the multiple things.
No, it wasn't Pluto. It was Uranus. They'd already said Pluto wasn't. That's why we went to go buy Uranus. They fuck around, said Uranus. It was not a planet. They said it. That's what they said. We said, fuck it, we're gonna look at Saturn. Stupid shit. He's just making up stuff. While I'm here, y'all, I want to talk about something else.